Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fish Out of Water podcast slash YouTube channel. I'm Isaac. I'm one of the hosts here. Real quick, I know it's been a long time since we posted. Personally, for me, I've been kind of caught up with college. I'm still a college student. I just traveled abroad and studied abroad. Past semester. This semester I've been kind of swarmed with a lot of work and other responsibilities. Matt's been very busy too. He just joined ROTC program. He's the president of his fraternity back in his college. So yeah, sorry guys for not posting stuff throughout the year. But um yeah, the reason why I wanted to start recording once again is because it's that time of year, baby. It's playoffs. The NBA playoffs are starting up. By the time I upload this, they should be starting either today or tomorrow. So hopefully, cross your fingers, we get a great number of series from for the next 2 months. Um, and the way the things have shaped out in the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, it's gonna look really great, and I'm really excited to see um, just exactly how these playoffs shape up. So yeah, I wanted to cover each and every single first round series. Um, that's the hope, at least before all of them start. There's a chance I don't get to every single one before they start, but the plan is to release a bunch of these videos just to predict and analyze the matchups for each series. Um, so yeah, and before we start, if you guys could subscribe, comment down below, support the channel in any way, that'd be much appreciated. Like I said, I know it's been a long time since we've uploaded anything, but hopefully from now on, we're gonna try to be more consistent. Um, Especially since the NBA playoffs are now here. Um, so yeah, with that, thank you guys for tuning in and let's get started. So yeah, I'm sure most of you guys you guys probably clicked on this video just because of the title, why I think the Warriors will, or why I think the Sacramento Kings will beat the Golden State Warriors in round one. So yeah, that's the first matchup I wanted to go over. What an exciting matchup. The Sacramento Kings breaking the playoff drought for what now 14 years now. Incredible how they bounced to the third seed in the Western Conference. Um, you know, a lot of questions with Mike Brown being hired. He's had a history of not having not successful teams and being a scapegoat for a lot of failure in teams, but hell of a job that he's done. And it's kind of a given, but he's most likely going to be the coach of the year for the NBA. And a lot of why the Kings have been so good this year is because of the system and the identity that he's implemented into the Sacramento Kings. So yes, a new face in the Western Conference, and very excited to see how they pan out. A lot of new players, a lot of young players with a mix of vets. So yeah, super excited to see the Kings in the playoffs. The like the beam stuff, you just gotta love it. At first I thought it was very corny, but hey, it's really worked out this year, and it's become something that's helped them really get their fans, motivated and really into the game, into the team, and just and like the chain stuff, the defensive player of the year chain or whatever that they have. It's just great vibes in Sacramento. Um, it's a complete culture change. So yeah, it's very exciting stuff. Uh, and the not so new faces, the Golden State Warriors. Yes, the defending champions. What a crazy season they've had, obviously, like, the road record is what it is. I think they're something like 31 or something like that. Fourth worst road record in the league. There's been a lot of stuff that's been happening, like beginning of the year, Draymond like punched Jordan Poole or something. Luckily, I think they're good with that now. Andrew Wiggins, prayers up to him. Thankfully, he is reported to be ready to come back and play. He's going to come back for game one, or the Kings Warriors series. But yeah, went through a lot of personal things. If I remember correctly, it's something about his dad. Yeah, so prayers up to his dad. Hopefully he, you know, hopefully hopefully he can heal quickly, hopefully he can recover. And hopefully, we can just focus on basketball. So yeah, and the Warriors made some interesting moves. They traded away James Wiseman, their number 2 overall pick a couple years ago, and basically went for all win now move by bringing back GP2, Gary Payton II. Big part of why they were able to win the championship last year. And yeah, they're notorious for having a salary, a wage bill of like 250 something million, something that's honestly ridiculous. They got like 4 max players on the team. They're paying Draymond, Clay, Curry, Wiggins, and Jordan Poole. So yeah, and it's honestly been a complete turnaround from what the kind of dominance that they've shown last year. And it's interesting because yes, they've lost players from last year's roster, like Otto Porter Jr., who's unfortunately dealt with a lot of injury. GP2, Gary Payton, but they brought him back, so he'll be ready to go. Bielitsa at times was pretty big, surprisingly. But for the most part, the Warriors are a very similar team. They almost brought back everybody. So yeah, it just makes things a lot more interesting because of how much they've underperformed compared to expectations. Since they've have a very similar roster. But yeah, 2 different narratives for 2 teams that are in Northern California, almost like a 30-minute plane ride from each other. So yeah, those are just some narratives I wanted to go over, but now let's focus into basketball now. Yeah, let's dive right into it. Yeah, the way I want to approach this is going with a team and their offense and seeing how they match up with the opposing team's defense. See how can they scheme ways up. And we'll first go through like the half court stuff. So yeah, let's start with the Warriors on offense and the Kings on defense. This is the biggest question of the series because as good as Sacramento's offense has been, we'll get into that in the second segment of this video. Their defense has been pretty bad. Statistically, it's the 25th ranked defense according to defensive rating. So per 100 possessions, they give up 116.8 points per game or per 100 possessions. And the Warriors offense has still been pretty good. It's actually made a jump, if I remember correctly, from last year. It's ranked 8th in the NBA, and they have an offensive rating of 116.1, so meaning 116.1 points per 100 possessions. So yeah, and if we can just go into the personnel of it, obviously we got guys like Steph, Clay. We know what they can do. Even Jordan Poole. Yeah, Jordan Poole has been very inconsistent this year. And he hasn't been as much of a complimentary piece as he was last year. And he hasn't done a great job of necessarily playing off of those two. But I still think the Warriors offense, for the most part, should be okay. But I don't think they're going to be as versatile. And that goes, I'll discuss it later on the other end. So yeah, we all know that the Warriors are best when they go small with Draymond at center, and probably Wiggins, Clay, Curry. depending on who they have to guard and stuff. Maybe GP's in there, maybe Jordan Poole, maybe Kuminga, maybe DiVincenzo. But because of matchups, they're most likely going to have to play Kayvon Looney at center. And that's gonna mainly be because of how he has to defend Sabonis. And yes, Draymond is a generational type of defender, but the reality is Draymond's a 6'6" center, and Sabonis he's no slouch, man. He's legit. He's an all-star. He's one of the biggest reasons why the Kings have been so good. So Kayvon's definitely gonna have to play a lot of minutes this series. And I think that hurts a lot of the Warriors' versatility on offense. The Kings can basically sag off Kayvon, basically let Sabonis kind of have a freebie because he doesn't really have to worry about anything other than contesting the shot, the pull-up jump shot and the handoffs, contesting Clay Curry and occasionally Wiggins. Oh, sorry, Poole. But and maybe looking for the short roll in Draymond. We'll get to that later. Yes, here's the thing. Like, the Kings defense statistically has not been good, and no true contender has really made a far push into the play, or really no team's been a true contender unless they've been a top 10 defense in NBA history. It's a given fact. But I'm talking about the series, and to me, I just don't think the Warriors are there right now. Offensively, yeah, they're still good. But I think the Kings can really match up well. So, yeah, to get started, more than just personnel, we got to also look at the coach of the Kings. We're talking about Mike Brown. Yeah, he's done a great job, but the reason why I wanted to mention him is because he was literally Steve Kerr, the Golden State Warriors coach, top assistant last year. And I'm sure he's very familiar with a lot of what the Golden State offense is going to be. And yes, the Warriors offense is famous for being very unpredictable and very read and react. But there are certain cues, certain reads that, the Warriors consistently make. And Mike Brown, I'm sure he can scheme up a lot of things to beat this defense. And yeah, they're not ranked that high on defense, but I do think Kings have the personnel to get the job done. And it might sound surprising, but just bear with me here. There are two main, I want to say three main guys that I want to highlight on the defensive end of the court. So we'll first go with Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes is a really big player for the Kings because of how versatile he is. He's, fits in almost any lineup between really the 2 through the 4 position. If you really need him to, he can play the small ball center. But ideally, you want to keep him on the wing. Harrison Barnes has always been a decent and strong enough defender. And worst case, he's still like 6'7", 6'8". So I still think there's some versatility with him so that he can switch across the board. He comes from the Warriors as well. And I think his versatility will help the Kings a lot in terms of adjusting on offense or adjusting on defense to defend the Warriors. And, Wiggins, yeah, he might be matched up with Wiggins. And this might be an advantage because Wiggins is just coming back from almost a 2-month, 2-month break, I want to say, he hasn't played basketball in 2 months. And Harrison Barnes gets to guard Wiggins basically primarily. Yeah, and I just think on the ball he's solid. As a team defender, he's very solid. And I think he'll just get the job done. The second player I want to go over, Mr. Keegan Murray. Yeah, what a crazy rookie year he's had. He beat Donovan Mitchell's 3-point record. He's shooting like 41% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. And there's a lot of questions to why the Kings went with him at number 4 last year, but clearly he's been a great pick. And he's fit into this team very well. And Keegan Murray, like Harrison Barnes, has that versatility to him on the defensive end. He's 6'7", 6'8", I want to say. and he moves good enough. And from like what I'm hearing regarding like their defensive coverage, I think I saw something with Sabonis saying that Keegan Murray is going to be responsible for chasing Curry around. So yeah, the idea is to beat Curry with length. Yes, Keegan Murray is very he's actually surprisingly athletic and straight line speed. He's pretty good, but he's not like the most nimble and the quickest. But the plan is to beat Curry through his length and athleticism. Um, and the last player I want to kind of go over is Mr. Davion Mitchell. He's one of the best point of attack defenders in the league. And honestly, at 6'1", an absolute bulldog. He has the tools to really bother Curry, bother Jordan Poole as well, coming around those screens. He's a very good off-ball defender. He's very good at getting skinny and getting around screens. And on the ball, I'm sure you guys know Davion Mitchell is no joke. Hopefully he'll make a bigger name for himself eventually, but yeah, Davion's a great, great on-ball defender. For him, his issues are more on offense, which we'll touch on in the other segment. But when I look at the Kings roster, yes, they are ranked pretty low defensively. They have the versatility to get the job done. They can switch, and I think there's a scheme where they can really cover Draymond's short roll, Curry, Draymond short roll, pick and roll game, which they've mastered for the past decade. The personnel is there for it to be covered, and it all stems from the fact that Kevon Looney has to be on the court. He has to. Sabonis, yes, he's not the most. He's not an elite rim protector. He's not an elite defender at all, but he's still 6'10" and can move. And I think by having Kevon Looney on the low block, Sabonis or whoever the center is out there, if you really want to, you can also put like Rashad Holmes in there. Trey Lyles is a great small ball center option. This one I'm talking about, they have a lot of like wings, bigger wings that can really just fly around the court and switch with the Warriors. But if you have Kevon Looney in the game, Sabonis has the ability to just kind of play Draymond and Kevon. He's long enough to do it. Especially if the Warriors put a guy like Gary Payton out there or Jonathan Kuminga or even like Anthony Lamb. Oh my God, if Anthony Lamb has to play for the Warriors, that's not a great sign. Or even Iguodala. Can't believe he's still in the league, but yeah, hats off to him. I think the Kings have the personnel to fly around and really recover from that Curry Draymond pick and roll, where Draymond is in the short roll and can kick out to shooters, or hit Kevon Looney on the lob. I think the Kings are built to beat that. Yeah, it's kind of weird to say because they're really ranked low on defense. But if you just think about the eye test and think about the personnel that they have enough versatility, in my opinion, to do a good job defending the Golden State Warriors. Like I said, a lot of it stems off of Kevon Looney basically needing to be on the floor at almost all times to defend Sabonis. But all this kind of doesn't matter if Draymond at center can do a good job on Sabonis. I'm just assuming that he's not going to, especially as a scorer. Sabonis can really, really attack mismatches. He's one of the best mismatch hunting centers in the league. When he gets in position like right under the basket, it's almost a guaranteed layup or he's getting fouled. His fundamentals, his hook shots, he's so crafty. And yeah, Draymond is a great defender, but he doesn't have the size to beat someone like Sabonis, in my opinion. So yeah, Kevon Looney is going to have to play And I think that's gonna be the demise of the Warriors on offense. I think even Gary Payton II is gonna have to play. Um, he's gonna have to defend De'Aaron Fox a lot. He's really their only true point of attack defender. Um, and unfortunately, his offensive limitations are very extreme. Um, and if you can have two guys that you can sag off of to help out with Steph Curry, Clay, occasionally Wiggins, Jordan Poole, I think that really helps your defense. I think it really does. And part of this is going in the general sense. A part of why the Warriors have been so inconsistent this year is because teams are figuring out how to defend these actions where Curry is flying around, Clay is flying around, these ball movement stuff that the Warriors love to run. No, a lot of teams can't simulate them, but what they can do is implement some of what the Warriors do on offense, and it's making it easier and easier to defend them, and just because of familiarity. And like I said, that goes back to Mike Brown. He's super familiar with what the Warriors do on offense anyway. Um, and I trust that he's going to put his versatile wings, even guys like Kessler Edwards. He gets the job done. He's a big wing. Shout out Pepperdine, Pepperdine Girard. I think Kessler Edwards, Trey Lyles are going to have to be big time in this series when it comes to defending. So yeah, I just think that the Kings have a lot more defensive versatility than people realize, and their personnel matches up well with the Golden State Warriors. And the only counter, like I said, is if Draymond is able to play center. But that's, to me, a nightmare waiting to happen, because now let's get to the other end. The Kings on offense and the Golden State Warriors on defense. Look, the Kings, they ranked first in offense in the whole NBA at 119.4 points per 100 possessions. And the Warriors defense is at 17th. They're ranked 17th, giving up 114.4 points per 100 possessions. The big reason why the Warriors were so good last year was because of the elite defense that they possessed last year. You might be asking, hey, they have bringing a lot of the same players back. Why can't they achieve this defensive ceiling? Well, to me, it's because of the type of defense that they were running, not so the personnel. Curry, Clay, Jordan Poole, they're not bad defenders. DiVincenzo is not a bad defender, but they're not great either. They're no Davion Mitchell. They're not GP. They're gonna get cooked. They're gonna get cooked by De'Aaron Fox. I can almost 100% guarantee that. They're gonna get cooked by guys like Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter is an incredible outside shooter, and he knows how to ball handle, and he has a lot of shades of playmaking, and he's not a one-dimensional shooter. And behind Kevin Huerter is Malik Monk, who is an incredible scorer when he's really on. He's had an off year in shooting, but in reality, he's a 6'4", super athletic, shot making scorer. And if Malik Monk doesn't have it going, you have Terrence Davis, who I can't believe is the third string shooting guard in this Kings team, but they're that deep. Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray. If they have Clay, Curry, Poole switched onto them, I especially with Harrison Barnes, it's a mismatch. And Harrison Barnes is a great, or not great, but good enough isolation scorer, especially in the post, where he can take them to school and just shoot a layup. I think they're going to get the job done. And you might be asking, then why did the Warriors defense do so good last year? Why were they such a historically great defense? It's all because of the system. And the system was based around trust. That trust of not overhelping, which was such an important factor to their team defense. but there's the fault to this team defense is the need to get in reps, the need to really tune in, really need the need to really lock in and defend as a team. Draymond as the communicator, um, and Andrew Wiggins obviously is also a very versatile and great point of attack defender, but they don't have that this year. Um, the type of defense they ran was very complex. Um, I wish I had some advanced statistics with me. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds to afford those statistics. But just from the eye test, the Warriors were exceptional at trusting each other with team defense, with keeping their man in front of them. Um, Draymond was incredible at timing his help, but this year is different. Um, yes, they have a lot of the same players, but they haven't built the habits needed to perform that kind of defense that they did last year that kept them so dominant for most of the year. And that ultimately led them to the championship. So I think this is, at least on this end of the floor, is a real mismatch for the Golden State Warriors. I really don't think they're going to be able to shut down what the Kings can do on offense. And it's really interesting because let's say you put Kayvon on Sabonis. That's going to be a big matchup to see if Kayvon can hold Sabonis down from scoring. You get De'Aaron Fox, who I barely even mentioned, by the way, who's one of the rising stars of the league. He's an incredible shot creating point guard. And what's so interesting about De'Aaron Fox, he's very versatile in his scoring game. He used to be extremely one dimensional in his speed, needing to kind of push everything in transition. But number one clutch points in the league, meaning in the half court, he's great. He knows how to get his shot off. Yeah, he's not the best 3-point shooter, but he knows when to attack the basket. He knows when to pull up. He has a great mid-range jump shot. I don't have the numbers with me with his percentages, but De'Aaron Fox is a natural scorer at this point. And outside of Gary Payton, maybe Wiggins, I really don't know who's going to guard him. And if let's say you put Wiggins on GP2, or sorry, if you put Wiggins on De'Aaron Fox, then you're gonna have a mismatch somewhere with Harrison Barnes, who's really good at attacking those mismatches with guards. Like if Curry or Clay is on him, you're gonna take him to the low block and take him to school. And the thing is, Sabonis will find out every single time. He's one of the best passing bigs in the league. Um, I just think what the Kings can do on offense is so versatile, and the Warriors' defense right now, the personnel is just not ready to match up with this Kings offense. And it's surprising to say, especially because the Warriors have been historically such a great defense, but this year they just don't have the reps. They don't have the trust yet. And, you know, we'll see next year, but this year to me is just not the year for them to really have an elite defense. I might be wrong. I might be underestimating them. They've been a dynasty for the last 10 years almost. Maybe not 10 years, but close to 6, 7 years now. And they've historically had a great defense, but it's hard to just think that they're gonna suddenly flip a switch and become an elite defense once again, especially without the elite personnel that they have defensively. And how the defensive system last year was built on trust and knowing exactly when to help, knowing when to not help. Draymond communicating, that's just such a hard and difficult system to accomplish at this point. And the Warriors defense has let them down this year. And it's the main reason why they've struggled so much on the road, because of how they're not able to get stops. And yes, part of that is because they haven't had Andrew Wiggins. But to me, Andrew Wiggins um, he isn't like Rudy Gobert. He isn't Anthony Davis. He's not even a Draymond Green to me. He's an incredible wing defender, and he was probably the second best player in the championship run last year. He was even an all-star. But I don't think Andrew Wiggins is the type of player to transform your defense completely. And if he is, then I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong that maybe I'm wrong about the Warriors defense, and maybe they truly can be legit just from having Wiggins back. Yes, Wiggins is a big deal, but Um, I just don't think that Wiggins is going to have the impact that people really think he's going to have. Yes, he's versatile, but um, at the end of the day, he's not a rim protector. He's not an incredible help side defender. He's a great team defender and he's a great on-ball defender, but I don't think he's going to suddenly make the Warriors defense back to the historically best defense, the historically great defense that it was a year ago. Jordan Poole has been really bad at that side of the field, that side of the court, this whole year really. Jordan Poole has. We're gonna have to see what happens to him next year because he had a great year last year, but this year's been definitely different. Dante DiVincenzo, he works hard, but I don't really think that he doesn't scare me. If I'm De'Aaron Fox, am I scared of DiVincenzo? If I'm Kevin Huerter coming off a screen from Sabonis and running a handoff play with him, am I scared that Jordan Poole or Klay Thompson or Curry or DiVincenzo are chasing me? No, I'm thinking it's barbecue chicken. No, I'm thinking that I'm a score or I'm gonna pass it off to Sabonis who's gonna kick it out or score a layup, you know? Um, so yeah, and the last thing I want to go over is the roster and the depth. Yes, playoffs mean starters play like 40 minutes plus per game, so depth doesn't necessarily matter. But I think depth is not just about having players that can play, but having different types of players. And it goes back to the versatility things I was talking about. The Kings got a lot of versatility. If they want to run a Sabonis centric offense, and really lock down on defense, they can do something like put Davion in at point guard, put Malik Monk, or even do Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, and Kessler Edwards, and all like three wings. Just get three wings in there and Sabonis, and put Davion Mitchell in. They want to run a Sabonis centric offense. If they want to go small, they can go De'Aaron Fox, like Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray at center, or they can go Trey Lyles at center, even like Harrison Barnes at center. They have a rim protecting big and Rashad Holmes, who's an energetic beast. Something similar. They also have another player, Chimezi Metu, who's been really coming on his own recently, coming to his own, really outperforming expectations. Um, I just see a lot of versatility and lineup versatility with the Sacramento Kings, and they can do a lot of things on offense. And there's a reason why they're the number one ranked offense this year. It's because of how many counters they have, how versatile they are on offense. They're a team that's very difficult to stop. They can play it slow, they can play it fast. They can do anything on offense, in my opinion. I think they're probably the most versatile offense in the NBA right now. Harrison Barnes can go in the post, run a quick isolation. There's just a lot of things that you got to worry about. And when I look at the Warriors lineup, Curry, yes, he is probably the most incredible offensive player I've ever seen in my life. Curry can run anything. He can run off the ball, on the ball. He's improved a lot with his isolation scoring. But now I'm talking about everyone else. Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is one of the biggest keys in this series. But he's a very predictable player at this point. He's trying to create a lot on his own. Off the ball, he's not as effective as Curry and Clay, but he'll try to kind of simulate and imitate what they do. Um, but to me, Jordan Poole is becoming more predictable. Klay Thompson, we know what Klay Thompson is. He's a spot up shooter, amazing shooter. Honestly, it's incredible that Curry and Clay, they're the best shooting backcourt in NBA history. And Klay Thompson is going to run off his screens and he's going to have, several games where he drops like 45 and 11 threes, I'm sure. But when I look at everyone else, like, where's the other offense? Where's the offense? Where's Andrew Wiggins? Wiggins is a occasional isolation score, but I wouldn't say like I want him to cook. I wouldn't run isolation for him against Harrison Barnes or even, Kessler Edwards or Keegan Murray. Like I wouldn't want Andrew Wiggins to run isolation. Um, now what about everyone else? Are you trusting JaMychal Green to create anything, or Anthony Lamb, Draymond. Like I'm just I'm just concerned that the Warriors, even Ty Jerome, like the Warriors just to me, their offense is I think it'll be fine. I don't think it'll be completely stifled. When you have Stephen Curry, when you have Draymond and Clay, you're gonna have a decent offense no matter what, just because of that shot making ability that they have. But they just don't have the versatility that I'm looking for, especially on the roster. And what's ironic is the type of players that they can bring in that do give different looks. Like, let's say you want Iguodala at center or Jonathan Kuminga in there, or GP2. They're like complete non-shooters. And it helps a lot to defend Curry and Clay's off ball screening action to get a three if you have so many non-shooters on the floor, and that's where I think it's gonna kill the Warriors on offense. Kayvon Looney, is a great role player, but he is almost like the Kings are gonna invite him to shoot those mid-range jump shots, those 3-pointers. So yeah, um, that's what I have. Warriors and Kings. That's why I have the Kings winning. To be honest, it's hard to say that because the Kings haven't made the playoffs in so long. The Warriors just came off a championship and they're one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. But I'm gonna take the Kings in 6. I'm tempted to say 5, but I will. I don't think I'm going to go that far yet. Yeah, playoff experience, whatever. That might be like somewhat of an issue, but I just think the Kings are built for this, and they have the lineups, they have the versatility. If Mike Brown knows exactly what to do, if he knows when to help, if he knows who to put on who to help with the screening action with Draymond, I think the Kings can really cause an upset here. And it's crazy to say, like I said, because of how long they've how long they've kind of been unsuccessful. But times change, and I'm all for it, and I'm on board, and I got the Kings winning in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if they won in 5 though. That's how much I believe in this team. Um, and I might sound crazy, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that. I can't wait for the Warriors to sweep the Kings and people clown me for my prediction. But that is my final conclusion with Kings Warriors. I'm going with the Kings in 6. Very against the popular opinion. I think the Warriors are favored by. Hold on, let me just double check. Let's see. Yeah, the Warriors are. Okay, I can't pull it up right now, but the Warriors are heavy favorites. Many people are picking the Warriors. I think I'm ready to just decrown them right now, dethrone them. They're gonna lose their first Western Conference playoff series with the Clay, Curry, Draymond era, and it might be the start of a downfall. But we'll see. We'll see. Yep. So Kings at 6. And with that, thank you guys for listening. Yeah, I'm excited to cover more playoff basketball. I'll release more videos hopefully in the near future, especially in the first round. I think the Western Conference first round matchups are very fascinating. We'll see where I go with. I think the plan is to release more Western Conference series first, because I think a lot of the Eastern Conference series are very predictable in terms of what's going to happen. So yeah, with that, thank you guys for listening. Please, like I said in the beginning, if you guys can support by subscribing to the channel, spreading the word, posting or reposting this video, that mean the world to us. Yeah, with that, thanks for listening, and see you guys next time.